Gamebreaker TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the late night call-in talk show right here on Gamebreaker TV. I am your host, Mike Shaffnett, and joining us like he does every week from tankspot.com is the one and only Mr. Josh Allen.
Hey.
How's it going, Josh? Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, damn.
And...
And once again, joining us back from the nether, it is the one and only Mr. Darnell. Darnell, how's it going?
Yeah, happy Halloween! Oh yeah, look at this! Look at that! Happy Halloween, everybody! Yeah.
Darnell, I don't think that's the right holiday.
Close enough.
But who says I can't dress as Santa Claus on Halloween?
Maybe that's just what he's going as for Halloween.
That's
Shaftnit.
Damn,
right.
you so judgmental and stuff. Damn.
Sorry. That's fair enough. All right, I guess if you really want to start mixing, I mean, they've already got, you know,
There we go.
Christmas stuff. They've already got. All right, much better. I can live with that one.
You like it just like this?
Yeah.
This kind of thing you want to do?
Let's just go through all
Santa
of the. Yep. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You came prepared tonight.
Yeah, you know.
I want to know. I want to know how you're doing that without moving your hands. Like, that's impressive. You're switching hands.
I thought we had to talk about magic and stuff.
All right, let's kick off tonight and talk about. We usually like to start things off with the hot topic of the week, but I know this is going to be a commonly asked question tonight, so I'm going to skip over that, and I want to jump into one of the bigger news is involving World of Warcraft right now, and that's all of the updates that are coming to Cross Realms zones. More specifically, they just kind of came out and gave some explanation as to the ways that people have been going about and actually cheating, specifically with the fishing extravaganza. There have been ways to kind of manipulate and game the system so that people can pretty much turn it in the second it goes live. That's probably the heavily most abused situation at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger exploits that's been going around.
What do you guys think about how they've been handling cross-realm zones? Is it something that you guys are worried about in terms of World of Warcraft's life, or would you rather see them focusing on the other content that was delivered to us either prior or in Mist of Pandaria?
Honestly, I think the way they went about adding cross-realm zones was kind of a mess. And the update that they came out earlier, I mean, yeah, cool, the fishing tournament isn't going to get screwed up anymore. That's kind of a big thing, but the rest of it was just like, here's some freaking like technical reasons why it's working the way it is, and like, what is it, like they fixed the fishing tournament because they're getting like the time zones correct, and they were like fixing the, like sometimes you'd lag a little bit when you were going from zone to zone, and that's about it. I don't really consider that a massive update on the state of Cross Realms. There's all the other issues that they haven't really addressed, or maybe they have, but it's kind of like just a real quick, oh yeah, it's working how it's supposed to be. Along the lines of, is it supposed to be that it's so much harder now to get low-level herbs and stuff? Is it supposed to be that people are now just suddenly, I mean, obviously PvP servers are PvP servers, but honestly, I really felt that there should have been a free server transfer for people who are on PvP servers to go to a PvE server when this thing rolled out, because the way the game's been for so long, there's a ton of people who were fine with, yeah, you know, I'll get ganked every once in a while, that's fine, whatever, it's a PvP server, okay, I got ganked once in the past 5 years, that's okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's constant PvP everywhere, I literally have to have my guild come out and help me get my alt through the dark portal, so to where it's like, it's just kind of a jarring jump. But I think a lot of the issues with Cross Realms are overstated, but they haven't really been handled very well, I don't think.
Damn. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, PvP servers. Mike Shapley, let me talk for a minute. Okay. Even though, like, PvP servers, people crying about that stuff, damn, shut up, shut your mouth. You roll on PvP server, you get some PvP, player versus player, player with all at the end.
And isn't that, I mean, a lot of what people talked about were, the idea of world PvP and of it being something that's organic. That's something that I feel is a great way to make world PvP happen. And you can't have that when there's 2 or 3 people in a zone. Now that they're forcing people together, and I'm not saying this just for me, but I feel like a lot of people asked for this.
Yeah, they did, and a lot of people didn't, is the thing. It's a very large game. There's different groups of people that are playing it. My point isn't so much that PvP shouldn't exist on a PvP realm. That's stupid. Like, world PvP is awesome. Like, I was having the get through the dark portal issue the other day, and I thought it was awesome. I was like, this is amazing. There's so many people here, and like I ended up getting a whole bunch of guys from my guild to come out, and we just had this big epic battle going on over there. That was something I found awesome. Other people, including people that I know, are not very happy with cross-realm zones at the moment because they're just suddenly getting ganked when that wasn't an issue that they had for the past 7 years of playing the game. So it's something where the game has set itself up in a way where there's a lot of people on PvP servers that really should not be on PvP servers, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with like getting killed on a PvP server, but there are people who should not be there, and now they're having to spend a minimum of $25 to go someplace else. That's not counting moving any alts or anything like that. So I kind of feel like Blizzard should have given people an option to get off of a PvP server if they were going to do something that all of a sudden meant there's crazy ass PvP on PvP servers.
Hey, real quick before we start taking the first call, I got a question for you, Lord. When you go to the dark portal, what's making it so hard for you to go through right now?
There's like 1,000 people there. That's the thing. Like, there's people there like crazy. There's a lot of people, especially people who haven't bought the expansion. For whatever reason, there's like 1 million level 85s outside the dark portal, and they just kind of hang out and kill people. And
all right, so my question once again is, what's making it so difficult for you to get through the dark portal?
Well, obviously, you can pain train it. You can die multiple times and get your way through that dark portal, which is what I did, and it didn't take me very long at all. But there are a lot of people there that will kill you, and so you do have to graveyard run a few times.
You're talking about the dark
portal. What I'm saying, hold on a second, hold on a second. Okay, what I'm saying is, camera 2, okay. What I'm saying is, maybe you should have a friend who has like one of those mounts, you could jump on it, and then you all just fly right through, like zoom, and it'll be like, damn, you see me, got right through all impenetrable defenses.
Hold on, let me just manufacture a second person with a passenger mount. Let me just go ahead and pop. I keep like 6 of those in my back pocket.
Yeah, I mean, hold on a second. Lord, you on the internet. You on the internet. You got friends. Come on. Just send out a tweet and be like, hello, everybody. I need some help. I can't get through the dark portal. Oh, I'm crying. I'm panicking. Oh, I don't know what to do with myself. Oh, and then someone will come to you and be like, hey, I got a 2-person mount. You just go ahead and make friends, real ID and such. You know what I'm saying? Then we can go and fly right through like zoom. And we're like, damn, look at them go.
Let me adjust that with perhaps a more accurate depiction of what would have actually happened. I would say in general chat or trade chat or whatever, or guild chat, oh my god, there's 1 million people at the dark portal, I can't get through, whatever, someone come help me. And then everyone else just says, LOL, noob. Quit
Why?
crying.
I've got to get this out. Why are 85... We're talking about the dark portal that takes you to Outlands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are 85 sitting right outside that portal? Because that's a high traffic area?
What's
that?
Oh. You got to go through that to continue questing past level 50. Everybody has to go through it at some point. That's where the pandas are.
All right.
It's
well,
the panda slaughter out there.
I guess finally, one thing that they wanted that they talked about this was it's supposed to be a feature that's supposed to enhance the MMO leveling experience. Do you think it's doing that successfully?
I think it definitely is. Like I said, I'm not complaining about getting killed outside the dark portal. I just recognize that a lot of people would not like that because they want to be on a PvE server, and there hasn't been a difference between PvE and PvP servers for a long ass time. For me, it's definitely enhancing things because I freaking see people around places, and I don't have a problem with taking a couple of minutes out of my questing time to put the herd on some guy. Like I don't have a problem with that at all. I will fight. I will fight you, internet. I will fight you. But I just
that's not the best way to make friends on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I just think there's a lot of people that don't like that, and are being suddenly subjected to it.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh, hey, my guess. Can I say bitches on the show? Can I say that?
I guess it's too late. You totally just did. So.
Okay,
Go for
everyone,
it.
stop being bitches. Stop crying about that stuff. You roll PvP server, that's all you get. Okay, the end. Next caller.
All right, let's jump in and take the next caller here and see what he's got to say. Caller, you are on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Maybe. Caller. Check 1, 2, 3. Somehow I've been put on hold over here. So while I figure this out, I'm going to throw it over to a Twitter question real quick. What sort of impact do you think Disney buying Lucasfilms will have on SWTOR and movie sequels? Discuss. Now, I actually wanted to avoid this for a little bit longer. This is what I figured majority of tonight's going to be talking about. For those of you who don't know, maybe you haven't been paying attention to the internet, Disney just bought Lucasfilm, I believe. Lucasfilms. So now they own they own all of the rights to Star Wars.
No. Are you serious right now? No. Are you serious? Wait. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. That means that Lucas ain't going to be making any more Star Wars movies.
That means
Lucas... I guess
Lucas...
it's all right then. All right, no, it's all right then.
And that probably means Lucas can't keep touching and fixing his older versions. So we won't have more
because like someone shot first or something, yeah.
Exactly.
Not that Disney doesn't have a history of going back and messing with things, but yeah, they don't go to the extreme of, well, let's just change major plot points. Let's just, let's just put Hayden Christensen everywhere we possibly can. Let's do that thing. That's all I had. You didn't have to cut to me. That's all I had to say.
I mean, I don't know. So given the topic of conversation, obviously it's going to affect the films. It's going to affect what Lucas does. What does this mean for Star Wars: The Old Republic? Obviously, with EA having a lot of control, will this change anything for Star Wars: The Old Republic at all?
I actually compiled a complete list of everything that this is going to change for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Buzz Lightyear! Wait. That's the same dudes, right? The same dudes? That's Disney, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not. Go buy them up. Go buy them up anyways. Okay, you got money. Okay, yeah, Pixar. Okay. Yeah, Buzz Lightyear, yeah, the little Wally dude, yeah, little trash can, cute and stuff like that, yeah.
All right, Josh.
Star Wars: Old Republic. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Josh spent all this time on this list.
Oh my bad. I'm sorry.
I'm done with the list. I already listed off everything.
Oh, I already listed the whole thing off. He said Buzz Lightyear and Wally. Yeah, see, perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. No, this has zero effect on SWTOR whatsoever. None. Zilch. Negative amounts of effect.
None at all.
It's so ineffective, it anti-affects it.
All right, so let's continue to talk about then where this will go with the films. Are you guys excited at all about what this? Do you want to know more about Han and Leia's children? Like, is this a good move for Star Wars? Is this going to help the lore, or are people? Some people probably think you can't go any worse than the newest trilogy. So maybe Disney can come back and resurrect what a lot of people have a lot of distaste for.
Here's the thing. It's not so much that I want to know more about like Han and Leia's children and so on, because that's something that has already been explored 10,000 times over in the expanded universe. That's something that has been done. There's already canon in place for that. What worries me is that the same thing's going to happen that happened with the prequels, where he goes in and just changes it, say, yeah, whatever, screw the expanded universe, I don't actually care about any of that, I'm going to go out and write this whole thing myself. If Disney does something like that and they don't draw from the expanded universe, then that's going to piss a lot of people off. If they don't go in there and say, all right, well, let's look up the new Jedi Order series, for example. Let's go in there and we'll draw from the stuff that's already been written and already been put into as canonical parts of the Star Wars mythos. If they don't draw from that, then there's going to be problems. If they do, then fantastic. And I think a lot of people are sort of shying away from Disney. Does that mean we're going to have like Donald freaking Duck and everything now? But they actually handled things pretty well with Marvel, I think. The more recent Marvel films that have come out have actually been pretty good. And there's been some creative license, but it still at least feels like the characters that we know and love from the comic book. So...
Someone just said something in chat that I'm really excited about. Does this mean that we can see Star Wars coming in Kingdom Hearts 3? We gonna see some awesome lightsaber reaction going on with Sora and the Keyblade? Maybe? Yes? All right. Let's throw it out to another caller. I think we got this issue fixed and see what he's got to say. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name and tell us where you're from. I hear you in the background.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Domino's?
Hey, this is Levi from Tulsa.
Hey, Levi. Tell us your question. What's up?
I have a question about Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 seems like it was created as two games. First being a PvE leveling experience, with after hitting next level, one could get the best in gear like immediately, and presumably the only draw farming for dungeons, cosmetic gear, gear sets and the like. The second is a SPVP, which in no way connects to the PvE portion, like in any way. Not the gear, not the cosmetics, anything. It's an entirely different game that could actually stand on its own, like League of Legends. My question is Guild Wars 2 maintaining the hardcore PvPers and PvPers with such a segregated model and a lack of gear creation and PvP and PvE? Is there any word on Guild Wars 2's concurrency rate a few months after launch?
I think it's this would definitely be a great question to maybe throw to Buildcast. Those are the really hardcore PvPers that we've got here on Gamebreaker that are involved with Guild Wars 2. But I think that I think it's interesting that once you do, you're right. Once you take away that gear progression, it becomes more a game that PvPers don't have to worry. I think I think that they're going to be fine. I think PvPers love this aspect because the PvEer, in my opinion, is driven by the gear grind and always trying to keep that carrot on the stick, where the PvPer is much more content at playing the map and playing the competition, and the involvement that they get out of that, and not necessarily is focused on trying to get the next gear. And I think that's a wonderful way to keep player versus player continuing to grow through Guild Wars, is by taking that out. What do you guys think based on this?
I didn't really catch his question. It was kind of garbled for me. I wasn't really able to understand what he was saying.
So Guild Wars essentially has created two systems. They've created the PvE level grind for gear, grind for items, MMO style of leveling up, and then they've also created the SPVP. But I believe, as he mentioned with both of those, the leveling element has kind of been taken out of it, because the carrot on the stick is gone, because the gear is all normalized. So essentially, are they doing? I think what I was getting from the question, are they doing a disservice to the players? And can SPVP continue to kind of grow and take on its own? And is it, now that we are X amount of months outside of its launch?
I think Guild Wars is an amazing experiment just to sort of see what players do when they're thrust into this sort of environment within an MMORPG, that there isn't that carrot to chase after. I mean, they do have little rewards in terms of like cosmetic gear and stuff, or like as you're leveling, obviously you're getting more skill points and so on. But it's not nearly to the extent that you have in a more typical like WoW style MMO, where you're constantly leveling, getting new talent points, getting new spells and so on, and actually becoming better, getting new gear and everything, becoming a stronger character the entire time. So it's been really interesting to watch how people are responding to Guild Wars. I think there is definitely a community that's really into, I know there's definitely a community that's really into the way things work in Guild Wars. That's why we've got 2 shows about it. There's people that are really, really excited about the game the way it is. I just feel like its broad appeal is not what people were expecting. Like, I look at things like, people saying, why is the leveling here if everything just scales? And it's because people want to do the leveling. Like, it's not, the content is optional so that you don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's not there to be the main form of progression. It's there to say, okay, I don't want to go through the leveling and questing experience because that's not something I enjoy doing, so I don't have to. Personally, I enjoy the leveling and questing. That's actually my favorite part of Guild Wars, is the leveling and questing experience. I actually really like that, and the exploration. They have beautiful environments in the game. I love like going around and like 100%ing a map. That's the style of play that I've adopted in Guild Wars 2. I really like that. Other people don't like it, so they don't have to do it. That was the whole reason that they went with that. I think a lot of people are looking at the leveling experience and saying, well, I don't have any reason to do this, and not realizing that that's not necessarily a problem.
Can I just bring up right there, because you bring up a point that a lot of people said. We talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago or whatever, and everybody kind of came out and said that Guild Wars was not about the heart quests. That's not the way it was designed. And my question is yes, I get that it's like, okay, you go level the way that you want, you do things on the side, you play the game that you want to play. But my problem with it has been that I want to play my story quests. I want to focus on that. And I feel like every time that I kind of get ahead and can focus on the story quest, I can play it for about 30 minutes before I have to go grind 100 heart quests just to keep doing my story quest. So how is it not about the heart quests when I can't play the way that I want to play?
There's definitely a lot of bleed over in the exploration side. I'm just calling the PvE non-PvP aspects, the PvE aspects of it without the dungeons. I'm calling that the exploration side of things. There's definitely a lot of bleed over in what is required and what isn't. Like really early on, you can even be doing all the heart quests and still be behind in terms of your, I'm talking like in the first 10 levels or so. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but you can be behind by doing all the hard quests, and you actually have to start farming dynamic events to catch up, or doing something like crafting or something. That's definitely a major issue that I have with how things were put together in Guild Wars 2. Now, later on, for me, it doesn't become as big of an issue because I do like going and exploring and unlocking everything on a map. I like seeing all those little icons fill in and go, yeah, that's cool. I did this whole map. That's awesome. But if all you're after is the heart quest or the story quest, excuse me, if all you're after is the personal story, then yeah, I can see why that would be super frustrating because it's like, all right, I want to go help this guy kill this thing, but I need to go weed a garden first.
To me, it takes away from the story because I feel like I forget what's going on in my main story and get lost in everything that's going on this side. And I enjoy it. I like that it's there, but I at times I want to be so engrossed in my story that I understand who I'm going after. I forget who went off to go pillage this thing and because of all this stuff that I've been doing on the side. And that's just been my biggest issue with the questing experience and the way that has been with not being able to play the way that I want to play.
Yeah. Well, and I see people in the chat room making suggestions like level all the way to 80 first and then do all the story quests. And that's something you can do, but that still means you have to do all this other stuff that you didn't necessarily care about in order to get through the personal story. And since like this is my story was like one of the big selling points of the game, I do think that was kind of a misstep on their part.
Okay. I don't understand why people are getting all butthurt about, oh, I can't play the game the way I want to play because I want to do this one thing. That's all I want to do. It sounds to me, I mean, for example, Mike Shaffer, I'm trying to pick on you and nothing like that, but it sounds to me like you want to play a single player RPG and that's it. You want to play personal story stuff, and that's all you want to do, just personal story, right? That to me sounds like an RPG, and that's it.
But here's the thing. I've been going through every zone. I will clear out every zone in my personal race path and clear everything. Do all the vistas, do all the hearts along the way, and I'm still underleveled from continuing on my story. So for me to continue playing through the story, I've got to go visit another zone and play through a story area that I have no idea what's going on over there just so that I can keep moving forward in my race area.
But are you doing the dynamic quest and all that stuff? The little orange circles that come up and you doing all that stuff? Okay, I just want to make sure you say that because Cameron's going to be like, damn, Mike S is just stupid. He ain't doing any of the dynamic quests. He's clearly walking right by them and everything. I just want to make sure we clear that up.
I'm doing everything on the way.
I know you're exploring, you're going doing the vistas and all that stuff. You're jumping around on those stupid platforms, all this stuff like it's a stupid platformer game and all that. You doing all that?
And I'm crafting the whole time too, and that's still not helping me out enough.
Damn, they definitely effed up the XP curve in the single player portion of the game. There's no I had the word and then I lost it. No dispute on that regard. The XP curve is wrong. It's just wrong. Incorrect.
All right, well that went off on a whole different tangent, but I just wanted to kind of bring that up because I don't know, something you said sparked it in my head. So let's take it back to the callers and see what they got to say. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name and tell us where you're from.
Hi, I'm Dean Zafin, New Orleans, and wondering what you were thinking about with Machinima on open beta and Zeph and Hawken coming out real soon. What?
Okay, so I heard. Hang on.
Combat
Skype's
differences.
Skype's acting up pretty hard on us. I heard Hawken and combat. Can you repeat that and just maybe go just a little bit slower? Because we're trying to read in between the cutouts.
Yeah, I was asking about the MechWarrior open beta combat and difference between the Hawken cutout and its combat systems.
So the difference is between MechWarrior and Hawken, right?
Yes.
Got it.
And you're wanting to know what our opinions on the combat, correct? Ian?
Yes.
Okay. I have not had a chance to actually look at either of those combats. How about you guys?
Yeah, I was playing the Hawken beta a bunch on Friday. I like it. I like it a lot. It's very, very different from the typical MechWarrior style, because MechWarrior is almost, how do I put this? Where MechWarrior is more like driving a giant tank. Yeah, it's slow. It's more like driving a giant tank. Hawken is more like having an armored infantry unit, if that makes sense. Like, I almost feel like, to put it in MechWarrior terms, I almost feel like the style of play in Hawken is more like what you might get out of an Elemental or something in the MechWarrior universe. It's very, very fast-paced and very, very frenetic and frantic in the combat in Hawken compared to MechWarrior, where it's more slow and plodding and feels more like a typical mech game. And honestly, I like both of those styles. I haven't spent much time with the MechWarrior Online beta, but I played a ton of the older MechWarrior games, and I'm imagining it's probably somewhat similar in MechWarrior Online. And I like that style of play. That's fun. You know, you got the whole, like, I'm piloting this thing, and I got turning and everything, and, like, it's really slow, but there's still a very large element of skill to that in terms of being able to predict where things are going to be so that you can line yourself up so that when you do fire off your PPCs or whatever, they actually hit where they're supposed to be instead of, oh, I'm just spamming things like crazy like you do in Hawken. And Hawken is that much faster paced gameplay, more like you might get out of like a Blacklight Retribution or something, or a Call of Duty sort of style. It's very, very fast paced. I like both of them. I think they're going to appeal to very different gamers, but they're both fall well within the area of what I enjoy doing. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I really liked Hawken. It's really, really fun, and they need to quit doing the stupid beta weekend thing and actually have an actual beta, which I think is in December or something. But yeah.
You don't think? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, you played old MechWarrior. You don't think that maybe the combat could be a little bit slower? Not like the pew pew pop. I mean, like the whole thing, like the whole fight should be going on for like a really long time and some kind of persistent something. Because right now we got Hawken, you jump right in and you go and you play and do all that stuff, and you just like you go and you pew pew and you get out and you're done, right? And that's it. But with MechWarrior Online, it's the same thing. You go in and it's just the same length. It's like 12-minute match. But you're just moving slower, and that's it. You ain't moving on fast and stuff. Same thing. So you think that maybe it should be a little bit longer, the matches and everything.
Yeah, I haven't experienced MechWarrior Online's combat directly myself yet. I downloaded the client a while back and launched it and then closed it. I really haven't spent any time with MechWarrior Online yet, but it's definitely something that I feel should be that slower sort of almost like ship-based combat is what it ends up being like. In a mech.
Calculated.
Yeah, calculated, definitely. Like, I have to position my guy properly so that when I fight, like I was saying a second ago, I gotta be able to predict what's going on like a minute in advance so that I can be in the right position at the right time when that time comes. And it just comes down to that moment of, this is what it's been building up to. Did I get my shot off properly? Yes, awesome, I win. Or I did a whole bunch of damage. All right, now time to circle around and come back for another pass in a little bit. Whereas Hawken is more jump in, jump out, shoot, just going like crazy the whole time.
Josh Hammer or Heron Hammertoe from chat wants to know if you're going to be doing an on tap for MechWarrior ever.
On tap has sort of turned into something that I just kind of do when I get really excited for a game and want to talk about it. So possibly I have to spend more time for it to be able to decide.
All right, let's throw it out to another caller and see what you guys got to say. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sean, also known as Digital Addiction from stream. I'm from Tokyo, Japan. So basically my question is, what do you guys think about the flip-flop from Blizzard with the changes in 5.0 and the Mistweaver, where they originally were going to have a Gift of the Serpent, basically proc from the mastery. After 3 minutes, basically, it would explode and heal a nearby allied target for a certain amount, and then all of a sudden, now they're changing it to where it's not going to do that anymore.
So you're talking about, I remember reading this change in the PTR notes, and I'm not super familiar with Mistweavers. I haven't been following them super closely, so I'm just trying to infer from what you're saying here. They were making a change where the little Healy orbs that you could walk through would just automatically pop after a certain period of time and heal somebody nearby, and now they're not making it anymore, and that's what you're wondering about?
Yeah, basically, like, what are those ideal and why they did that, considering most Mistweavers are complete that our mastery is basically becoming useless, especially in finance, because people have to actually focus on going over there and picking them up, while as if they changed it to where they were supposed to be, it would just explode and heal a nearby enemy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very interesting challenge from a design perspective. It's sort of along the same lines as the Lightwell for a long period of time for priests, which they eventually ended up doing a similar thing where they made it so that you can now, I think it's a glyph that makes it so that you can make your Lightwell automatically heal people. The issue is when you're a healer, and in order to heal people, the people that you're healing have to do something. It can be kind of a mess, because if they don't do it, then, depending on how they balance it, you either run into a situation where if they aren't doing what they need to make use of your heals, then you're underpowered. Or on the other side of things, if they are making use of those, then you're overpowered, you're too strong. That's a balancing issue that they had for a long time with Lightwell, and it's an issue that I can certainly see them running into with the healing spheres from the Mistweaver thing.
What did they do to fix that with Lightwell?
Well, they kind of didn't. Like, is the thing. Nowadays, they actually have a glyph that you can slot if you want that will cause the Lightwell to automatically heal nearby people. But it's still technically more effective to not slot that glyph. There's actually another one that you can slot, and that will increase the number of charges on the Lightwell, but only if, that's only more effective if the people that are in your raid group are actually going to click on the Lightwell. So it's kind of this situation where they just sort of diminish the difference by quite a bit. I would not be surprised at all, looking at the PTR change, I would not be surprised at all to see a similar effect come into place for Mistweavers, where instead of saying this is going to automatically be the case for absolutely everybody, instead maybe they'll turn it into a glyph, where it's something that you can slot if you want to, but it might have some other sort of ramifications to go along with it.
Isn't that the whole design philosophy that they've been going with for Mists of Pandaria, and even a little bit of Cataclysm of, yes, this is more powerful, but you have to do something. It's not automatic. And that was kind of the way they designed a lot of the abilities. I think that had that power.
The issue isn't so much it's more powerful, but you have to do something. It's more that it's more powerful, but everyone in your raid has to do something. It makes you rely on the actions of the other 9 or 24 people that are there with you, instead of just being able to push that out yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing.
All right, let's throw it out to a Twitter question here. Ben Ritter wants to know, there was a lot of talk before Mists of Pandaria about the stat crush. Do you think that for 6.0 we will see a level crush to solve the problem?
Damn, that's really soon, isn't it? You talking about the stat thing, where like everyone all of a sudden going to be hitting for like 10.
Well, he's, if I'm reading this right, he's saying they were talking about a stat crush, but might they do the same thing for levels, since we're going to be going up to 95 or 100? Is how I'm reading that.
I guess it can be perceived, because he says, do you think we'll see a level crush to solve that problem? So I think he's saying, instead of crushing the actual stats, we would crush the levels. So instead of being level 90, you'd suddenly be level 30 again.
What the hell? No, he means stat crush. He ain't type out level crush, none of that stuff. He ain't double check anything he type out. That's all. Thank you for watching, Ben Ritter. We really appreciate it. I'm just saying, double check your stuff before you go and send it out.
I think he actually is talking about a level crush, because
they ain't gonna do that. Ain't gonna take oh ding, oh yeah, 991, oh no 10.
Well, that's That's what. I don't think that would be something that they would ever do. But I think that is actually what he's asking there, is if they would crush levels instead of just crushing stats. I don't think that would happen. That would screw up the entire open world experience.
Yeah, exactly. See, okay, yeah.
All right, next up here, Edgar Luna wants to know if I have been thinking 6-man dungeons for DPS could help the queues in the looking for group spam, but SWTOR and ESO went for the 4-man. Why?
Because they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, I said it. That was the same exact thing I said when SWTOR came out. I was like, why are these 4-person? This is stupid. It should be 6-person groups with 4 DPS, 1 tank, and 1 healer. Because that's what the population looks like. Having it be 4-person groups with 2 DPS meant that there were tons of DPS looking for group all of the time, and that was it.
Darnell, you disagree?
I'm just saying they're just trying to go off the thing that always worked for all time. Remember old Gauntlet and stuff like that? You get in there, Warrior, Elf, and all that stuff. You're 4 players, that's it, right? Every time you buy an adapter to play, you're 4 players, that's it, 4. Every time you play a multiplayer game on the same TV, guess what? 4, and that's it. That's why the one made the most sense. 4, that's all.
But we're not playing on the same TV. This is a PC MMO.
It don't matter, same mindset. We just say, okay, it seemed to work for 30 years. Why not? Just 4 players, that's all.
But you guys might not realize this. But the SWTOR servers are actually running on a PlayStation 1. And whenever you go into a raid, they actually have to go over and hook up. Is it only 2 players? Okay, we'll go N64 then. PlayStation server, the SWTOR servers are running on an N64. And every time you want to get more players in there, they actually have to go over there and plug in one of those things that lets you add on the more controllers to it. Yeah, that's how raids work in SWTOR. It's just one N64 sitting there with 8 different daisy chain splitters going on.
Yep. Apparently, my guess never had a PS1 with a multi-tab, but that's cool. I'm saying,
64-bit SWTOR. I didn't have a multi-tab because I didn't want to pay the money for it because I was too busy playing the single-player RPG.
No, because you didn't have 3 friends. That's all it is. Just tell the truth. You didn't have 3 friends.
I didn't. All right, let's start out to another caller. I'm gonna make another friend right here. Caller, tell me your name, tell me where you're from, and can we be best friends?
Hi, my name is Adrian. I'm from Scotland. Yeah, sure.
Yes! There's one friend down, Darnell.
I could have swore he said not sure, but I couldn't really tell. I'm just saying.
All right. Adrian, tell us your question.
Well, I have to go. So my question is about LOL. I'm just wondering, how do you guys deal with trolls and ragers when they pop up in one of your games? I don't think Darnell has a problem too much because he probably tries to kill the enemy team 3 times within 5 minutes of the game. Is karma. So, well, that's my question anyway.
So how to deal with trolls and ragers? My philosophy with it is it's you gotta not care. You have to, especially if you're not queuing, if you're queuing solo or you're queuing with one other person, you've kind of got to go in the mindset that you are just going to get people who think it's always your fault, people who really suck. People just imagine you're going to get the worst of the worst and be happy when you get a incredibly competent and team that works, because I find the only way that I can keep myself from getting invested and furious and mad is by not caring if I win or lose. That's all I've been able to do to keep myself from going overboard with League.
I think there's certainly a lot to just sort of expecting the worst out of it and saying, yeah, you know what? I'm going to solo queue, and this is probably going to be awful, and if you get a good group, then awesome. You're like, yeah, best group ever, this is amazing. And if you get a crappy group, then you go, yeah, well, I was kind of expecting that, whatever, we'll just make the best of it. I think, trying to make the best of it is always a good choice. Don't get into a game and be like, oh, well, this guy picked middle sticks or something. He's going middly. You guys, we're totally screwed. We're going to lose right now. Don't immediately write off every game that has a suboptimal player or something in it as a loss, because a lot of times you can end up winning regardless of that player. Yeah, it sucks when you play out a 40-minute game and you lose because and it was close enough that one guy would have made the difference. But a lot of times you'd be surprised. Before Eve got buffed and before Eve was actually good, there were a lot of times you'd see people play Eve and actually dominate because the other team had no idea how to deal with Eve, because nobody ever plays Eve because everybody thought Eve was awful. So there was that whole thing. That's something that can happen in, like, again, like a mid-Nidalee or something is something that can kind of work. It's not exactly ideal a lot of the times, but it's something that can kind of work because the other guy might just have no idea how to even deal with that and ends up eating spears all day and dying like crazy. I wouldn't immediately rule off any game as a loss and then start getting angry about it. And when people start raging, when they start going, oh my god, like, the stupid noob support doesn't buy wards, and you've got 10 of them in your inventory and there's 10 more out on the map already, then I just start laughing at them. That's all I do, is I just go, is this guy serious? Is he looking at the same mini-map I am? And I just start laughing at it. And don't respond. That's the other thing. Don't even talk to him.
Whoa.
Gary's response to this is just remember or just think that the person on the other side is probably 12 years old, and then you'll suddenly feel better about it.
But that's never the case, though. Well, sometimes it's the case, yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, here's what I do. Check this out. Now, this may seem slightly unorthodox. Some of y'all might be like, no, that's crazy. I'll never work. Oh, damn, that might work. That's exactly what you can do right now. You ready for this? You ready for this? You ready? Okay, get this out. All you gotta do is just add mate at the end of everything you say. So if he's like, damn, noob, you suck. Oh, look, everyone look at the noob, blah, blah. Just be like, thanks, mate. I'm just trying to learn how to play the game, mate. You know why? Because no one can get mad at Australians. Everybody loves people from Australia. So they never get mad at people from Australia. Steve Irwin, right? Come on. No one get mad at Steve Irwin. Come on. Crocodile dude. Come on. Hugh Jackman. Ain't no one get mad at Hugh Jackman. Come on. All you gotta do is just say mate at the end of the stuff. And that's it. Can't be mad. Nope.
All right, so
I did something similar when I was playing Nasus a while back. I would just always pretend that I was just actually a dog and just respond as though I was a dog the whole time. And so if I started dying, I'd just be like, "That can't do, am only dog," or something like that. And I was laughing. And now freaking Doomy is doing the same thing, and everybody thinks, "Oh, he's the first person to ever do that." Well, I'm a little jealous. Jealous.
There was on Twisting Nether, the World of Warcraft server that I grew up on, when you could knock people with Typhoon off of their flying mounts. A guy named Tenge kind of was one of the few who rose to success and fame because of it. And his response that he generally responded to everyone with was meep meep, like the Roadrunner sound. And that was it. That was all he would ever say to anyone, Alliance or Horde, when they contacted him, was just meep meep. And it became a troll in a sense. And like no one can say anything to that. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So one thing real quick is chat brought up a really good point. I don't, maybe this is where the caller was coming from, is obviously it's hard not to care when your elo's at stake. If you're playing a ranked game, you're very worried about the fact that your elo's going down. You don't want your elo to go down because of other players. Josh, do you have any tips on how to deal with that?
Well, I've been terrified of playing ranked in League of Legends for exactly that reason, because I didn't want to get myself into that position again. But coming from when I used to play a lot of StarCraft, the biggest thing that helped me out with kind of ladder anxiety or just getting really, really mad at like I get cannon rushed and I'm like, I'm gonna lose ladder points because this noob is cannon rushing me. I'm like raging at him in chat and everything. The biggest thing that helped me out with that, was the idea of always playing it out no matter what. That was something that I found myself able to come to terms with it a little bit better by continuing to play it out. And the same thing goes in League of Legends. If you finish off the match, you don't just like start spamming surrender votes or anything. Just finish off the match and do what you can. It's something that I've found helps me a little bit. And the other big thing is just don't feel like you have to constantly keep playing. If you're getting really, really mad at League of Legends, stop queuing, because the next match is going to be worse. Even if you win, the next match you are going to feel worse. Get up, walk around, take 10 minutes, go take a shower. You probably need one. Go take a shower or something. Just, don't force yourself to continue playing when you're angry. That's the worst thing you can do.
All right, let's throw it out to another caller and see what you guys got to say. Caller, you're in line with Gamebreaker After Dark. First off, will you be my friend? I'm going for 2.
Say no.
Sure.
Yes! That's
Damn,
2.
what the hell?
I only need one more to have a multiplayer SWTOR party. All right, here we go. Tell us your name. All right, tell us your name, tell us where you're from, and shoot us out your question.
My name's Justin from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was wondering, would you guys like to see more skill shots added into World of Warcraft, like the new Hunter? So
Yes.
My immediate response is no, because I hate skill shots because I'm so bad at them. But yes, because I like that it brings more skill to the game. Josh, go ahead. You seem to want to jump on this one.
I think skill shots should be implemented in a way similar to Spinning Fire Blossom, which is a monk ability that normally it's something that it shoots out straight in front of you. It does a little bit of like aiming assistance. If you're just, as long as you're pointed at something, it'll go towards it and hit it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a it doesn't have to be a projectile that goes out and has to run into somebody. Anyway. It goes out in front of you, and if it hits somebody, it does damage. If it hits somebody at range, I believe it does more damage and then also roots them in place. However, you can glyph it so that it removes the root effect, but it just goes automatically on your target. It's not a skill shot anymore. And I think that's the best way to go about doing stuff like this, is in situations where it's a semi-important ability like that, make it something that, like, because it's also the ranged damage ability for, like, Windwalker monks in PvP. So, like, if you need to finish somebody off, you're going to want to chuck Spinning Fire Blossoms at him. But I think the best way to go about doing it is to add those glyphs and stuff like that, so you can say, okay, here's a skill shot. It's really good if you leave it unglyphed. But if, for whatever reason, you just can't land the skill shots, or you're just not very good at those or whatever, if you're Mike Shaftnit, then you can slot the
damn.
The glyph of the Shaftnit. You can slot that, and it's no longer a skill shot, but it's also not quite as effective. I think that's the best way to go about doing it. I love skill shots in World of Warcraft. I think there needs to be more. I think there needs to be more skill shots in all games. Honestly, like I just like I like having more skill. Anything that adds more player skill is good.
Does then that create two tiers of gaming for the people, I'll just continue using myself as an example, who can't, are at this lower tier where they're not respected and you're not playing the real game and you'll never be that good, versus the people who are? Because you're obviously then going to have that separation of players.
Yes.
And you're okay with that?
I have no issue with that.
I honestly don't think I do either.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with someone, like, if it was in a widespread thing, and if it's like a huge difference, like all of a sudden this ability is just completely and totally worthless if you slot this, like it should still be useful if you slot the glyph. But I don't really have an issue with the ability to say, I'm going to make this ability slightly easier to use, but slightly less effective. I don't have a problem with that. The same thing is going on with the Inquisition glyph for Retribution. It increases the uptime, so it's easier to keep it active all the time, but it lowers the amount of damage bonus, so it's only more effective if you have trouble keeping Inquisition up. If you're one of the people that will forget to refresh Inquisition, then you might get more effectiveness out of slotting the glyph. If you're able to keep the Inquisition up all the time, then it's something that you could say, okay, yeah, now I don't want this glyph because I'm getting less damage out of it. I think if it was done in a way where, especially, and the Inquisition glyph makes a really good example here, because it's something that you're still going to want to try to keep it up as much as possible. And as you start to get better at keeping it up with the longer duration, then eventually you'll be able to say, okay, you know what, I've gotten better at keeping it up. I'm getting 100% uptime on it with the glyph now. Let's get rid of the glyph, get the extra damage back, and see if I can handle it at 30 seconds instead of 60 seconds. I think there's ways to go about implementing it. And I would love to see more skill shots in World of Warcraft, because I would love to see more skill in PvP and less crowd control in PvP while we're at it. Let's just get rid of one CC ability from every class. That'll do it.
How do you think they would go about changing the elevation issues that they might run into? League and Dota and all those are isometric, and there is no elevation. But with a 3D kind of environment, you're going to run that issue of you're up here, you're down here, and all that other aspects.
There's ways to do it. I mean, they could make it something that just ignores the the Z-axis, the vertical axis. They could make it something that just, okay, I'm going to shoot this out straight in front of me, and it'll hit anything in this line, because elevation isn't as big of a deal all the time. Or maybe like, because I guess like Warsong Gulch, that could be kind of overpowered if I was able to hit the flag carrier who's up on top of the thing from underground just by shooting at him. But there's ways to deal with it, I'm sure. If it does become a major problem, then yeah, that could be an issue to stop them from adding more skill shots. But I guess my hope is that it wouldn't be a problem.
All right, let's throw it out to another caller and see what you got to say. Here we go. I'm going for 4 so that I've got a team.
No,
caller,
say no.
Caller,
shut your mouth. No,
caller,
no.
Will you be my friend?
Damn, come on.
No?
He's not even there. Doesn't even.
No one's here. Anyone?
I'm here.
Will you be my friend? Will you be my friend?
Say no. Say no.
I will be.
Yes!
Oh, damn it, no! Oh, messes things up. No, you're supposed to say no.
Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Now my guess is going to have to play Star Wars: The Old Republic. We were trying to save him from himself.
Oh,
Damn.
I forgot, man. All right. So tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your name and tell us where you're from.
My name is Elizabeth, and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Welcome.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a couple questions, and I'm not sure if they can be answered. But the first one was actually, my friend plays a lot of Secret World right now, and she's trying to get me in. She quit WoW, she quit Guild Wars 2. She's in Secret World more. Do you think it's a good game to buy? Is it worth my time, or?
What kind of games are you into? Like, before we let you go,
I'm really digging Guild Wars 2 right now. That's the only game I'm playing right now. I canceled Terra, I canceled WoW. That's what I'm playing right now, is Guild Wars 2. So, I kind of like the idea of the Secret World, but I'm kind of not really impressed with the world itself as far as the graphic goes. I know there's more to the game than the graphics, but it seems like it should be free to play because it looks about as good as ATB to me.
Well, here's one benefit is if Guild Wars is all you're playing.
Like I'm a casual, but kind of social gamer. So I just want people that I can get online with and play with every day. So.
It's tough for me to really speak out about the Secret World specifically, but I know if you're very big into that kind of, I don't want to say it's not ARPG, but if you're into that mystery element of kind of exploring and trying to figure out mysteries and solutions, and I know that was a really big selling point. That was one of the reasons why Gary just kept going on and on about it when we were off air. Is every other day I felt like I was hearing about how much he loved what was going on in there. It's tough to say from my experience if I think it's a game that you should jump in and enjoy. My personal response will be, though, the benefit here is you're loving Guild Wars 2. You're enjoying what's going on in there, but you want to maybe go play with your friend. You don't have to pay anymore for Guild Wars at this point. You can keep playing Guild Wars all you want, and if you want to pick up something else that your friends are playing, maybe try out Secret World and jump in and play with your friends when they're online, and when they're not, jump back over to Guild Wars.
Yeah, I definitely think, I agree that it's a game that should have been free to play. It was a game that screamed free to play to me from the beginning. Just even the way it was set up, like in terms of the stat systems, everything. It's definitely a game that should have been free to play, and probably would have been a lot more successful if it was free to play. I don't know if they've said honestly, I haven't been paying too much attention to it, but I don't know if they've said anything along the lines of if it's going to be free to play at some point. To me, it seems like the main draw is the world, like the whole environment of, obviously, aside from the social side of things, which the social part of an MMO is always the most important, I think. That's what really keeps people playing MMOs is, are there friends playing it too? Do I have friends that are playing this thing with me? That's definitely something that I think is the primary motivating factor behind a game. So if you've got a bunch of friends that are playing this, then maybe you should look into it. But I definitely think that outside of the social side of things, the main draw is the whole like Illuminati, dragons, Templar sort of feel to it, and the like secret, the secret world, right? Like the whole idea of it's modern day but behind the scenes sort of thing. I definitely think that's a very important part to it.
Yeah, you have to really, really not like, or like, the whole mystery, all that stuff, if you really don't get into, Secret World and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just confused right now because I'm looking at Lowell right now. You know what I'm saying? He's sexy and everything. Yeah, what's up, Lowell? Damn, you was a sexy dude. I'm just letting you know that let his head. Anyways, all I'm saying, young lady from Phoenix, if you have really, really enjoyed playing, to go and look on the internet and looking up things and all that stuff. So let's say, for example, if you're really good at stalking people and stuff like that, if you're stalking all kinds of people and stuff on like Facebook and all that, then you might be into this game. But if not, then forget it. It probably ain't for you.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not trying to say you stalking people. Damn, chat room, don't get carried away. I know what you're thinking right now. I'm not trying to say that you stalking people. I'm just saying if you into stalking and doing research and do all that stuff, then this might be a thing for you. I ain't trying to insinuate that she's trying to get out there and stalk some of her friends or ex-boyfriends and stuff like that. Damn, chat room, y'all get carried away sometimes thinking like that.
Sometimes, Darnell, I don't know if you're spot on or just paranoid. It's one or the other. I wasn't gonna go there. All right, but yeah, I'd say that's about the best advice we can give on that topic. So
did you have
let's
two questions? She had one more question, man.
Oh, I didn't know she had two questions. Sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just was curious about armor skins in Guild Wars 2. Do you think they should be account bound rather than just one person, one character buys the skin and then one character wears the skin?
Armor skin is in color dyes?
Skin should be able to.
Armor skin is in color dyes, or armor skins is in like cash shop items?
Costume.
Cash shop items.
Yeah, the costumes for like the in-town tab or whatever.
I thought that like the medieval and the primeval. I thought those were.
They might. I'm not max level in. I haven't even looked at the cash shop in Guild Wars 2 that much. I'm super casual in the game.
I've totally avoided the cash shop.
I definitely think though, from this perspective of should they be, should cash shop items like that be account wide? Honestly, I think that would add a lot more. I would have to know how much they're actually selling. I guess that's really what it comes down to, is if they're selling, if people are actually buying these things, then maybe not. Maybe it's already fine that how they are, at least from the perspective of from ArenaNet's perspective. Maybe it's already something where it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we're making tons of money off of this. Maybe we should leave it like that. From a usability standpoint, obviously, like from the player's perspective, it'd be great if they were account wide, because then I could say I could buy this entire outfit on whatever character I feel like and have it on my other characters as well. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think there's, I may be mistaken, but I think there's some of them that don't work on other characters. So that could be like plate armor sort of looking things that might not work on another character. I'm really not sure how they, like, I'm kind of speculating a lot right here because I have not spent much time in the cash shop in Guild Wars. I just really don't know enough about that to really speculate too much. But it is something that I think obviously would be great for the players. May not be the right choice for ArenaNet based on how much they're selling. I'm generally a fan, of marketing decisions that cater to selling more of them overall. Yeah, whatever.
Gotta make money.
Gotta make money.
All right, let's sort over to a Twitter question. Andrew Saxton wants to know 2 superpowers and 2 weaknesses.
Oh,
Go.
damn. Come on. We couldn't.
On the spot. We'll throw us on the spot. We'll come up with something collectively. That way we don't come up with 6, 12 total.
No, I got it. I'm good. Okay. 2 superpowers is super strong and super handsome. Yeah, super handsome, right? I'm kind of like just a little bit more than what I am now, right? Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be greedy or nothing, okay? And 2 weaknesses is the second toe on my left foot is really sensitive to people stepping on it. And my left elbow cracks sometimes when I move it around. There we go. That seems pretty fair. Yep.
I can't even follow that. How am I supposed to follow that?
Here,
go ahead.
I would do something like teleportation and mind control. Those would be my two superpowers. And then my 2 weaknesses would be I'm too good at teleporting and too good at controlling other people's minds. I'm so good at it. It's kind of too much sometimes, you know?
How do neither of you want to fly? That's the first one that comes to my head. I want to fly. And not like wings fly, just like
IMO.
No, that takes all the fun away from it.
No, that adds all the fun to it because I'll
you're just gonna continue to teleport loop, do like Nightcrawler fights.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome. Just teleporting progressively higher in the air as I'm going along. Man,
yeah, come on, let's
play Champions. Did you not play Champions? Teleportation was so awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta say flying.
Come on, no, seriously, hold on a second. Everyone remember Petrelli, come on. Flying was the dumbest ass, come on. At least Superman, he could fly and be bulletproof, shoot laser out his eyes and all that stuff, and wear tights, come on. Petrelli, all he got, he could just, I could just fly real fast. Oh, there we go. That's all I can do. I can fly real fast.
I'm
Yeah,
not
okay,
saying
straight.
I have 2 superpowers, not just one. I'm picking one as flying.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? Flying faster?
Damn.
I didn't think that far. I don't know. I would say strength, super strength, just so I can not have to work out. That'd be wonderful. Just be done with it.
You got like a 12-year-old metabolism. We talking about working out and all that stuff. What you should have done, be like, I want a superpower where I can have all kinds of friends, be ultra friendly. Everyone likes, I can have friends I can play with my PlayStation with the multi-tap.
I can't. That only supports up to 4. Or could you multi-tap multiple times? Could you multi-tap a multi-tap?
You
What
could
the
put
hell?
in 2 multi-taps. Yep, you could have 8 players on one PS1.
Jeez. That's
He wants a
ridiculous.
daisy chain, have like 64 people on one screen. Everyone's got like a little icon and stuff like that. That's fun.
That's
The original
that's how Switch
MMO.
raids work.
Yeah. And as for weaknesses, I don't know. I'm gonna cop out and just throw to another Twitter question because I haven't thought through this question at all. And I'm not witty enough to give a Darnell answer.
I came up with totally legitimate weaknesses.
No, yeah.
Have you ever had someone step on your toe? Come on, that's terrible. You don't want someone to step on your feet sometimes. Damn. Having an ultra sensitive one, that'd be like, you imagine all the bad guys come up to you, they'd be like, oh, Darnell, I got your face right now. And then they step on your toe and you're like, oh, my toe.
That's not a weakness though. That's like legit. That's
No, but it's ultra sensitive. Just the one toe. Like really, I'm just saying, like it hurts a lot more than normal.
hitting your
Sometimes
funny
I
bone.
could trip it myself.
Hitting your funny bone is a lot worse than getting stepped on a toe. That hurts. That sends fire all the way up your hand, and you can't move for like 10 seconds.
But it's
The
so
hell
funny,
kind of funny bone you got? I hit my funny bone. I was like, ow. And that's it. It's ow.
I hit my funny bone and go, why am I moving? What is this activity that I'm doing? Why am I doing this?
Chat room actually came up with a really good weakness for me. It's yellow dresses. That's weakness 1. Or is that a superpower? That might be a superpower. I don't know.
No, it's
That's just a costume.
It's like,
Oh, okay. All right.
it's just your costume, yeah.
All right, let's throw it out to another Twitter question. Jake Batty wants to know, Grand Combination faction rep item, will it work on my tunes on different servers and other factions?
I have no idea.
You know how you can tell? Instead of throwing this Twitter question out and maybe I can get this plug in if I can get this typed. Instead of throwing out this Twitter question to us, even though we appreciate it, you can head on over to, hopefully it has the answer, wowhead.com, and it'll tell you all the answers for all of your World of Warcraft needs, provided by the wonderful people over at zam.com. And plug. All right, let's throw it to the next Twitter question here.
Damn, we just play it right off that. Good thing, too, because I don't understand why people think we play World of Warcraft or something like that, you know.
Damn.
What is the scariest game you guys have ever played?
Damn. Darnell, you play lots of scary games. What? You go first.
I don't understand why people think that's. I ain't playing a game. Those are real life experiences, and all I'm doing is just kind of showing you guys what happened. That's all. Y'all act like I'm that one time, because you playing Dead Space. No, I was there. I was the whole time with the big space cracker. Basically, it's a big ass cracker in space. Cracker. I can say cracker, right? Cracker.
I love
Space, and then I'm running around, and so that's all true. Damn, yo. And then like the room and the thing and the castle, and I can't remember anything. That's all written. Y'all talk about playing video games. Ain't no video game out there. It's real. Come on.
I gotta say, I think for me, the old time. I mean, obviously this encompasses a whole genre, but the old time survival horror, early Silent Hill, early Resident Evil, Tibia, the first MMO that I ever played. Any game where your life is literally on the line makes it very scary in essence of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. This is actually gonna mean something, and I feel like that brings a real personal fear to the table. Now, as for like the scariest game I think I've ever played in terms of like I don't want to go around the next corner, the first thing that pops in my head is Fear. the FPS, and I feel like it's gone on a little bit more of a crazy turn with the more recent Fear 3. But I remember playing through Fear 1 and just literally screaming out loud every time there was the Samara, I believe it was her name, showed up. It was just the worst. Oh wait, no, that's from The Ring. I don't remember. I don't remember who. It was still a little Japanese girl.
Character.
Yeah, yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Man,
What
That's
about you?
racist. I'm just saying.
Scariest game I've ever played. Doom. Because I played it when I was like 12, and that was terrifying. Okay, when there wasn't 3D graphics yet. Now, come on, I'm gonna be Grandpa Lore here for a second, but seriously, when 3D graphics were first a thing, and all of a sudden you're getting shot in the ass from something, you're taking damage, and you don't know what's going on, and you turn around and there's a giant ass freaking demon right there, and you're 12. That's scary, man. That's terrifying. After that, the first 30 seconds of Resident Evil, because that's the farthest I made in that game, because I don't do very well in scary games. I just don't. I watched Let's Play with Darnell, Amnesia, episode 1, and I had to turn it off, because I was freaking out.
Damn, really? I mean, you should keep watching, because the whole thing gets better and better. You know, got companion box and all that stuff, you're missing out. See, I got friends. I make friends while I'm in there, you know? Yeah, so wait, that's a plug right there, by the way. Go ahead and go watch that show. Yeah, it's Darnell Let's Play. It's on the website. You know, not a video game. It's actual experience. It's all real life. Don't think it's a video game. It's real. It's all real.
All right, let's start out to the next Twitter question and get through these because we are starting to get to time. Hanson71 wants to know: do you guys listen to music while you listen to music while gaming? Why or why not? What genre? Josh, I think everybody knows what you listen to based on watching your streams. You usually have music on, don't you?
I listen to exclusively Gangnam Style. I like to listen to some Chi-Chi from time to time. Listen to some party rock. No, I actually don't listen to music very often while I'm playing games. Like when I'm just playing a game by myself, I usually don't turn music on. Sometimes I'll throw it on while I'm streaming, but it's usually to be a dick. Like that's usually what. Like I'll start playing some Coldplay or something. I'll be like, yeah. Coldplay.
I remember
everybody loves Coldplay.
back when my guild was actively like hardcore trying to get heroic Lich King, it became a thing for me to throw Kesha onto the vent and force our guild to listen to Kesha until we got heroic Lich King down. And that went on for about 2 months. So by the end of it, unfortunately, I actually developed an enjoyment for the music, and it kind of ended up backfiring because then I found times where I wanted to go back and listen to Kesha and some of the other like poppy remixy songs that I had on that playlist. Rating, I think, is a really good time to listen to music. I think it helps. Go ahead, Josh.
Nickelback.
No,
Damn.
no, that is the worst punishment, and I would never do that to anyone. That is worse than American waterboarding. That is awful.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, hold on a minute. There's a difference between American waterboarding and waterboarding everywhere else. I'm just curious. Is there like Austrian waterboarding or something like that? Is that what's going on?
Siberian upside down waterboarding.
Leave it to
Brazilian
Darnell.
waterboarding, but actually it sounds pretty nice, actually.
Leave it to Darnell to call out my verbal inconsistencies. Let's throw it out to another viewer question, and let's wrap this thing up. So, caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from.
What's up, guys? This is Austin from California.
Austin.
What's up?
Yeah,
I
awesome.
want to know what you guys. Yeah, Austin. Shut up, undead.
Dang.
I don't know what,
Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
what you wanted. What you guys, if you went to college, if not in high school, the game you could get home or you're skipping classes, and that's what you really wanted the good way to play.
Okay, one more time. A little slower. Skype is cutting out on us.
Okay, wonderful. In college, if you went, and if not, how about high school? What was the game that you couldn't wait to get home to play, and you just wanted to class and play all the time?
Really easy answer is World of Warcraft. That's when I got into college. 2006 was when my roommate first introduced me to World of Warcraft. I almost burned my house down cooking ramen the first night that I played World of Warcraft. I didn't even notice that all the water had boiled out, and I was caramelizing ramen in the bottom of the pan, and there was smoke everywhere. My roommate stumbles in the house, inebriated, and calls attention to the smoke, and I'm just sitting at the kitchen table playing World of Warcraft. That was definitely my heyday and my obsession period of World of Warcraft. In high school, I think it was much more Halo, and then obviously it was right around the time of Halo 2. That was the one that we all like gathered TVs and were kind of LANing together and playing a lot.
You kids and your games that came out in the past 15 years.
He left out the part he said Halo 3 is what we were trying to say.
I figured I couldn't go Halo 3 or Halo Reach. I had to at least make it a little bit more believable.
Yeah. It was Counter-Strike for me. Counter-Strike Beta 6. Yeah. Before it actually released, it was in beta. And like bunny hopping. Oh, I miss bunny hopping. They ended up bringing it back a little bit, but it wasn't nearly as good as it used to be. I'd like man, dust. I would go from the counter-terrorist spawn to point A in like 6 seconds. Just and I was over there. I'd go like I'd thread through the one door, go around, like thread through the other door, and I'd be like swinging around, and like there's the tunnel, and I'm like looking right down the tunnel, and some dude would poke his head out, be like, "Oh, I can totally be safe right here because there's no way the counter-terrorists can get here by now," and I was like, right in his face.
Him sound effect.
Yeah, that's actually the sound that my carbine made. My M4 was like, it was apparently, see, that this was back in the days when Counter-Strike sound effects were actually all done by Nokia cell phones, those big old blocky things. It was just like, and I'd be like, oh, thank you. I'd like to know that my gun, no, seriously, Counter-Strike. I played the hell out of that. I failed out of college over it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Warcraft 2, damn, I don't know.
Were you around?
Warcraft 2, yeah,
Warcraft 2?
Warcraft 2, yes.
Is there a Darnell?
Awesome.
Is there a Darnell character in Warcraft 2?
Yeah, of course, it's a hidden item. No one's unlocked it just yet. It's in there though.
All right, guys, got to go out and search for the Darnell cameo in Warcraft 2. All right, last caller for the night. You're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from.
Yes, I'm Brendan from Australia.
See,
hey mate,
we can't even be mad. See, we can't even be mad.
Do you have fire tornadoes? I gotta ask because Gary's not here. Do you have fire tornadoes?
No, I don't.
Damn. Okay.
See,
All right,
we ain't even mad. See,
all right, mate. So, mate, tell us your question, mate.
Do you think Blizzard will only offer Titan once WoW drops behind a number of players? And if so, do you think they will offer a deal such as 50% off subscribe if you subscribe to Titan, or even an annual subscription for Titan beta access to get those WoW numbers up again?
Did you guys get that?
Yeah. So are they holding off on announcing Titan until WoW drops below a certain? That was the first part, at least, right? If they're holding off on Titan until WoW drops below a certain number, okay. And then, if so, are they going to do any sort of deal like half off your subscription or something like that if you're subscribed to both of them? Is that what you're saying?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that they're waiting for WoW to start floundering to hold out to announce Titan. I honestly think they're just not really like super hardcore developing it at the moment. I imagine, I guess the team is up over 100 people now, but that's still relatively small for a Blizzard development team. So, well, at least nowadays, relatively small for a Blizzard development team. So I don't think that they can sit on Titan and just wait and be like, all right, well, let's wait until World of Warcraft goes under 7 million subscribers, and then we'll announce Titan or something like that. I don't think they can really do that. And I don't know if there's any real reason for them to do that anyway. Maybe hold off on releasing it. Well, and even then, I don't know that it would make a whole lot of sense. It's definitely an interesting thought on would it be bad for them to announce it too early, I guess would be the question there. And I'm honestly not sure about that one. As to having a sort of like combined, almost like a station pass sort of thing, like what SOE has done with stuff in the past, I think that's a given, really, honestly. That's something that if once Titan actually comes out, I would be surprised if they didn't do something along the lines of having hey, you can pay for both of them and it's $25 a month instead of paying $15 for both of them or something like that. I would be surprised if they didn't do something like that.
Yeah, damn, I don't even know where do you begin with this. Yeah, okay, so they got like, 10 million people playing World of Warcraft, right? Okay, and then like eventually people are gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is old, we're gonna go ahead and leave, go somewhere else, play some other, game, something like that. So Titan's gotta be either something to go and pick up all those people that are leaving, or it's gotta be something completely different, and then they gotta do something with World of Warcraft or to keep people playing it, because right now, World of Warcraft is old. Like, wait, look at me. Let's be honest, everybody. Everyone look at me. Look at me.
You look cartoony.
I'm just saying, it look kind of old, so they need to do something with it.
Technically, you're younger than I am. You can't be older than me, even if I'm 12. Even if I'm 12, really so I don't even want to hear it.
He just looks really young.
Thank you. All I'm saying is that they need to do something in order to figure out, what to do with all these World of Warcraft players. Because eventually they're gonna leave and go somewhere, and if they Titan ain't something for World of Warcraft players, and where they gonna go? Who knows? They're gonna go some other game or something. Who knows?
All right, Darnell, you can follow him right there at Darnell Sup. Be sure to catch his Amnesia Let's Plays right here on Gamebreaker TV if you want to scare yourself silly. See what I did there? See what I did there? And
this is another Matrix reference I didn't miss. All I'm saying.
Mr. Allen. You can follow him right here at Devolore, DEVOLORE. You got anything coming up this? We're not off air yet. What is this? Oh, I guess it is after dark. So, and it is after 10 o'clock. So now, yes, Darnell, now you can say, I think you said what, bitch? Swear? You swore. You swore on air before 10 o'clock.
I cannot believe
How dare you
say that word, Mike Schaffner.
Yeah, it's way different when you say it, because you're 12 years old. It's like when a little kid said, people are just like, oh, I can't believe you let your little kid talk like that. Damn. See, it's the same thing. See, when I say it, it's just kind of like, I'm just like, yeah, oh, yeah, bitch. And see, it works. It flows.
I need to point out that you definitely did the white boy swear with that one, where you were like, you guys.
I'm surprised you wasn't like, bitch, mate.
Bitch, mate.
Bitch, mate.
Wait, what?
Oh my gosh. And you can follow me right here at Mike Schaffnet. Be sure to follow Gamebreaker TV. Guys, if you want to join us on the conversation every Tuesday at 9 p.m. PDT, all you guys got to do is add GB After Dark to your Skype information. We open the lines every day, every Tuesday at about 8 o'clock. You guys can start calling in. We'll line those calls up for you. If you guys have not checked out the Gamebreaker website, be sure to do that at gamebreaker.tv. Guys, thank you so much for calling in, giving us your calls and talking with us all night. See you next week.